Well, it's a cold and rainy day here in Atlanta, and what better way to boost my spirits than to go to Goodwill? So I'm here. I am wearing a green raincoat that I got at a thrift store many years ago, and I love it. It's got these cute little hearts in different colors on the inside, and then I love this Kelly green color. I think I'll do a video on all of my thrifted favorite clothes that I have. Most of them are coats, so I think I have a little problem with buying coats from Goodwill. I have several of them, so I will do that one of these days soon. But for now, I'm going in to look for vintage treasures in this Goodwill. Let's see if they have anything good. This appeared to be a vintage hand-knitted Christmas stocking, and I love vintage Christmas, but unfortunately it just doesn't sell well for me in the antique booth, so I decided to leave this behind for somebody else. I always check this aisle for Pyrex, even though Goodwill does not put Pyrex on their shelves anymore and puts it in their online auctions instead. Every once in a while you will get lucky and you'll find a nice piece of Pyrex at Goodwill. When I'm shopping in the toy aisle, I am looking for vintage Fisher-Price and vintage Playskool, my two favorites. Today I didn't find either of those, but I did find a cool abacus, so I grabbed that. I always check the plastics aisle because I'm looking for vintage Tupperware. It sells really well for me in the antique booth. Well, I'm glad I stopped in. I didn't go overboard. I only spent $13.60. When I get home today, I will show you what I got. I'm pretty excited about some of the things that I got. You know that saying about Lay's potato chips, how you can't eat just one? Well, I can't eat just one potato chip. And for me, also, I can't just go to one thrift store, especially if I know that there's one right down the road. So that's why I'm Value Village. Let's go inside and see if they have anything good. I didn't do any filming in Value Village. I feel like I get so caught up with filming that I end up missing things on the shelves, but I got some good stuff there. The thing that I'm most excited about is that I got 2 new framed prints to replace the 2 that recently sold, and I just wasn't happy about the way that that wall looked in my booth. So I'm excited to show you what I got when I get home. I am so excited about everything in this haul, so make sure you stay until the end when I show you the beautiful candelabra that's in my thumbnail for this video. Something that always sells for me is Nancy Drew books. It's just something I'm drawn to because I read them when I was in elementary school. So if you can ever find the old ones, they are worth a lot of money. This one is not old. It was printed in the year 2000, but the copyright page says that this book was originally printed in 1930. If you can find those are very valuable. This Nancy Drew is the very first in the series. It's The Secret of the Old Clock. I've probably sold 6 or 7 of these. When I find them, I usually buy them. This one was $1.51. It is in perfect condition and looks like it's never been read. I will put $7 on this. I may be going a little bit overboard with the brass candlesticks because I have 2 or 3 pair of them in my booth right now. But I did pick these up at Goodwill. They were $4.18 for the pair, and they have a stamp on the bottom that says solid brass. I will put 24 on the pair. If you watched my 2-part video series where I reorganized our basement office with the bookshelves in it into an antique booth inventory display, when I opened up all those boxes that I got from my gift haul, there was a cloche. Everything is making music today. I called it a lid for a cheeseboard, but there was no cheeseboard in the box. My husband said it was called a cloche. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. I had a cloche, but no cheeseboard, and so I held on to it because I often find cheeseboards in thrift stores and they're missing their cloche. So guess what I found at Goodwill? I found this really cool cheese board. This is where the cheese would go. It has pineapples and strawberries. I love kitchenware that has fruit on it. This is where the crackers would go. It's missing its original knife, but that wouldn't be too difficult to replace. And then this little cork part right here, I'm really not sure. I'm thinking maybe you would put some type of dip or condiment in a little dish in that part. But here's the fun part, is that when I tested it out, the cloche fits perfectly on this. So the cloche was free. The cheese board was $4.04. And I will put 22 on this with its lid. I'm super excited about this, and I think it's really cool. I recently had a vintage backgammon board game that sold in my booth, and that reminds me I need to do a what sold video for the first 2 weeks of February, because I already got my check for the first 2 weeks of February and I got my sales report. So because I had a vintage game that sold, I of course was super motivated to buy some more vintage games when I saw them. I got these at Value Village. Now they were taped together and being sold as a bundle. So I was taking a risk. I couldn't look to see if all of the pieces were there, but I could tell by the font on this Monopoly game that it's vintage. I'm not sure the year. This Clue game it says 1972. So I just think these were cool. They're definitely heavy. So I'm hoping that, it has those heavy Monopoly board game pieces in there that were made of metal. They're $5.05 for the bundle. So I will put 14 on each game and see how they do. But I just loved, especially the Monopoly box. I went ahead and separated the two games off camera. The Monopoly does appear to have all of its pieces. The Clue game also has all of its pieces, and it probably will just need some new scorecards. Those can be purchased on Amazon for fairly cheap. But this is a little disappointing. I just wish that the thrift store had not taped these two games together, because the person who donated them had taped them shut so that the pieces wouldn't fall out. But then Value Village just took a tape down and just bundled them together. And unfortunately, when I start trying to remove this tape off the top, it's taking some of the finish off the box. And so that's a little bit disappointing. When I looked at the instructions, it will list several copyright years. This game goes back to 1935. If you can find one that old, you have found something very special. This one, the last year on the copyright listing says 1973. So both the Monopoly game and the Clue game are vintage games from the early 1970s. Since both the Monopoly game and the Clue game are from the early 1970s, both of these games are over 50 years old and they're in excellent condition. So I'm super excited about them. The next item I have to show you that I got at Goodwill was this really pretty Pottery owl mug. There's something about this speckled pottery that really draws me to it. It's not signed or marked or anything like that on the bottom. There was only one of them. I looked really, really carefully to make sure there wasn't a second one. This was $1.39, and I'll put $8 on it. This is a vintage Pyrex storage container. It would have come in a set with several other sizes. This would be one of those examples where the Pyrex pattern and the Corningware pattern complement each other. This canister was $2.09, and it should sell for $18. These would be really cute if you're able to find a whole set of these and had a whole set of the casserole dishes. That would be a really awesome collection to have. I found 3 really nice beer steins at Goodwill. This one says München on it. On the bottom, it is stamped West Germany. And on the side, it is stamped that it holds 0.5 liters. I love it when these stamps are set in the stoneware before it dries. They're actually indented. They're not just like an ink stamp. They're an actual stamp. So you can feel the indentation of the stamp in the stone. This was $2.49 and I will price it at $22. Here's another beer stein that I got. This one has a really nice pewter lid on it and the hinge works just perfectly and it closes and seals just right. This one says Triberg Schwarzwald right here on it. It is also stamped on the bottom Western Germany and it is also stamped 0.5 liters. This one was only $2.09 and I will put 26 on this one. I think it's more valuable than this one because of the nice pewter lid and it stays closed so perfectly. The next stein that I have to show you is not a German beer stein. It is a Brazilian beer stein. It is stamped on the bottom, made in Brazil. And it also has several other numbers on the bottom. I'm not sure what they mean, but it has a really nice pattern on it with horses and evergreen trees. This one was $1.39 and I will put 22 on it. When I spotted these on the shelves, I knew they were something special. First of all, I've never seen any of these before, but I also knew that they would probably sell really well in my antique store because our antique store is in the North Georgia mountains and there's just lots of people up there buying cabins and furnishing their cabins and buying dishes. And I just thought these were special with the ducks on them. They are American made. It is Louisville Stoneware Company out of Louisville, Kentucky. I got 4 bowls and 1 beautiful coffee cup. Each piece was $1.39. I'll put $10 a piece on the bowls and $8 on the coffee mug. Unfortunately, there was only 1 coffee mug. I may go back to that Goodwill today actually and see if I can find any more of this because sometimes things get separated and the stocking employees don't always get everything out at the same time. So if I go back, maybe I'll find a few more pieces of this beautiful pottery out of Louisville, Kentucky. This was just a really interesting pottery piece, I thought. It is signed on the bottom, David Myers, 1995. So this is just a little studio pottery piece, I guess, or project piece, but it's a really well done piece. I'm going to call it a creamer. I kind of like that it doesn't have a handle on it. You basically can just stick your thumb and your forefinger in this little notch right here and then just use it to pour that way. I really like this. It was only $1.09 and I will put $8 on it. Too bad there was no sugar bowl to go with it, but super cute. Based on my research about this crock, it is a Red Wing Company made in the USA bean pot. The ones that I'm seeing online don't have a lid like this. The lid that they have has a little knob on it. This lid is interesting to me. So I'm really not sure if this lid is original to this piece or not. I'm thinking it's not, and that maybe in the thrift store or maybe in the person's home that there is another piece that this lid is supposed to go with, and that this piece is supposed to have the darker brown lid with the knob on it. But still, this lid fits properly, and it has a stamp on it that says 1/2 and then the letter B, and I don't really know what that means. If you know, let me know. Does the B stand for beans? Because this is a bean pot? I really don't know, but I like this. It was $3.09. Crocks like this sell really well for us in the mountains. I will put 32 on it. Super cool. Every time I put a citrus juicer in the booth, it sells. Usually they have an orange top, but usually they're also glass on the bottom. This one is not glass. This one is plastic, but it does say KitchenAid on it. It is kind of nice because it does have a spout on it. So after you juice your piece of citrus, then You can easily pour this into your recipe with this nice spouted bowl. This one was $2.09, and I will put 14 on it. In my most recent thrift haul video, I actually took you to the booth at the end of the video and showed you how the items looked once they were styled in the booth. If you watched that video, you will remember that I had 2 rose prints on the focal point wall on the left side of the booth that it sold. And I found something to put in the spot because I had this big blank spot, but I just wasn't crazy about how it looked. What I did find at Value Village in this most recent haul was 2 more rose prints. These are Rideau rose prints, and the matting is pretty 80s looking, but I really like them. I like the gold frames. Gold and brass tones are definitely back in style right now. So these were $12.99 a piece, and I think they're going to look amazing in that space. As soon as I can get up there and put them in that space, I'm going to do that. And I will put $46 on each one of these. And finally, you waited this long. I'm glad you stuck it out. But this gorgeous piece that was in my thumbnail for this video, when I saw this, oh my gosh, I got really excited about it. I kind of waited around to see if maybe there was a second one of these, and at least not while I was there, there wasn't a second one. I'm seeing this online being described as marble with brass, but I'm also seeing it described as onyx, and I'm pretty sure that this is onyx. It is absolutely beautiful. Look at the detail on the flower on the bottom. It has a little candle wax on it, which is just kind of coming off with my fingernail. I'm probably going to take my Brasso and shine this brass up. This beautiful onyx candelabra was only $5.09, and I'm going to price it at $52. I just think it's gorgeous. I've got a lot of brass candlesticks to choose from, so I will put it in some type of display with some more brass, and I just think it's going to look gorgeous in the booth. Very excited about this piece. Thank you so much for watching today. I still have a lot more work to do on this haul. I have written a description of every single item, and I've written down how much I paid. I have researched each item and looked it up to see how much it should sell for, so that's the number that's in the little box. But I still have to wash everything, remove the Goodwill and the Value Village price stickers, photograph everything. I need to have a photograph for everything in my booth so that I can show you in my what sold videos a photo of each item that sold, as opposed to just talking about it without a photo. And then I need to create my own price stickers and attach those to all the items, and then pack them up safely to travel up to Ellijay and put them in my antique booth. I recently did 2 home tours of my house in Atlanta and my cabin in Ellijay, Georgia, which is in the North Georgia mountains. If you are interested in seeing all of my vintage and antique treasures that are in both my Atlanta house and in my Rustic cabin, make sure that you check out those home tour videos. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.